All right, this is hello, ni hao, ni me hao. This is Cliff, Cliff. It is coming up 3 o'clock China Standard Time. I saw Eric jumped in, Mr. Kong jumped in on Gmail. There he is. So it is Saturday, July 2nd, 2022, with my very good student, Mr. Eric Kong, who is now, I think, in 7th grade. Unbelievable. So these are always videoed for Eric if he wants to go back and watch it. Hello, Eric.
Hello, nice to see you.
Hello, how are you? Yes, good to see you. I can't believe it. So in China, though, is it 7th grade or I forget? The same, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so now you're in 7th grade. I can't believe how young you are, but time flies, right? We say time flies, meaning it
Yes.
goes very quickly. So how was your exams?
Yeah, so the result was good. So I got the results the day before yesterday, and tomorrow I will return to school to have the summer camp. And it probably lasts for 10 to 14 days. We are not sure.
Okay, well, that's not so bad. Yeah, you need some time to rest, right? So the
Yes.
holiday is only the summer holiday in China is what, 2 months or a month, maybe month and a half or 2 months?
Yeah, maybe a month and a half.
Yes, so very good. What are you going to do for your summer camp? What do you learn at summer camp?
So it's to learn new things and prepare for the eighth grade.
And pay for, okay, so what type of new things? Do you know what you'll learn yet or no?
We'll add one subject. It's physics.
Physics. Wow. Crazy. Very good, man. You're busy, 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 busy. All right, let me share the screen. Okay, did you have time to take a look at these worksheets or these okay,
Yes,
which one do you find interesting?
is the chili one and invasive species.
Okay, good. Sounds good. So we'll start off, I think, the Chile. Let's see, where's the Chile one? Is this it? Oh, no, no, no. Chile. So how's your parents? How's your mother and father?
Yeah, they were good. They were all riding bikes.
Yeah, they're riding bikes today. That's good.
Yeah.
A good exercise. Okay. Uh yeah, I think yeah, that's all right. That's a good size. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting we can do this in on the new software, the new what do you call that? The new when they update that. What do you say?
Yes.
What do you call that in English? Maybe you know, Eric, when they the soft not software, but they but a new feature, right? A new feature anyway. All
Yes.
right, Eric, go ahead. Please read, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah. The South American country of Chile is a land of contrasts and extremes. Chile is a narrow ribbon of land that extends from the dry Atacama Desert in the north to the wet, windswept. Uh,
Yeah, this is it's a I think well fjords, right? But you don't really pronounce the J. So I think this is maybe like a Norwegian from Norway or Swedish word, but we use
yeah.
this in English too, but it's pronounced fords.
Okay.
Yes.
Fjords and glaciers of Tierra del Fuego in the south, one of the longest countries in the world, spanning about 2,700 miles from north to south. Chile is also one of the narrowest, averaging only 110 miles from west to east. Its widest point is about 220 miles.
Very good. Excellent.
Chile,
Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, we're going to just try to increase your English vocabulary with synonym questions, right?
okay,
Yeah, this is Spanish, right? Obviously, Chile and South America is more Spanish.
yes,
Some speak Portuguese, right?
Portuguese,
Yeah,
Brazil.
yeah, but Tierra, so it's pronounced Tierra del Fuego. And fuego, if I'm not mistaken, right? In Spanish, it means fire. So this is
Yes,
the glaciers. It's like the Tierra is like, I think, terrace, right? So terrace of fire. So glaciers of terrace of
yes.
fire in the south. Interesting. Okay. of Chile is a land of contrast. Okay, so contrast. What is contrast? How is it used here? Is it a noun, an adjective, a verb?
It is a noun.
All the contrasts, land of contrasts. I would think it's maybe used as an adjective, right? And extremes, but that's okay. That's a difficult one. What is, give me some more words that are similar, right? Or synonyms, right? That's the same thing of a contrast. What are some other words that are similar to contrasts?
Compare.
Good, excellent. And compare actually would be an antonym, right? I think we've discussed this. That's the opposite, right? So when I say I want you to write something about compare and contrast, right? Compare is a similar word, right? Are you there, Eric?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. So it's a similar word, right? So but it's opposite of contrast. So it's an antonym. If it's similar, it's a synonym. It's a word that's close to it, right? So contrast, I would say another word would be difference, right? You can use differences is a synonym. Here, I'll make it easy for you on the first one, right? So let's go thesaurus, right? So you always go to a thesaurus. So these are similar words, right? And it helps you to increase your oh, that's good, Eric, right? Comparison, compare and contrast. That's interesting. Because I would think to compare is to make something to compare it is to make it similar, as opposed to contrast is to discuss the differences, right? But that's interesting. So you are correct. You always get me sometimes. Okay, and then another good one is contradict, right? So to contrast, it's a contradiction, or you can have a disagreement. So again, when you go to a thesaurus, right, I always tell you when you're reading, let me just cut that out. To always do this, right? So even if you know the word and you want to increase your vocabulary, your English vocabulary, let me see, where are you, Eric? Here, right? Just go to a thesaurus and always go to the dictionary, right? If you don't know it. So then these are the red ones again, are the most commonly used synonyms, right? In comparison, right? And then it drops down to orange and then the lighter colors, right? Okay, how about extreme? What are some other words that you could use for extreme?
I think spectacular.
Spectacular? I don't know, maybe. Again, man, you seem to get me. So extreme or extremes, it's the same, one and the same. Yeah, I don't know. Spectacular would be like fei zheng hao, right? Like it's a very it's above great. So you could say spectacular, great, awesome. That's more in the same genre, right? It's very similar to saying great or good is spectacular. I would say extreme, right? I don't know. That's interesting. They use depth or excess is height, or height. That's interesting. But let's do extremes. Let's actually add the S. Okay. Yeah, no spectacular here for extremes. Terminus. That's interesting, right? Adversity, apogee, boundary, extremes, boundary. Climax is good. That's a good one. Crisis, depth, right? Okay, good. All right, Chile is a narrow ribbon. Chile, narrowest. Okay, what are some other words that you can use for narrow or narrowest?
For people, it's maybe slim.
Slim, very good, right? Slim, thin.
Yeah, thin.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. How about to dominate, right? You can use that as an adjective to dominate somebody. So
Yeah.
what are some other words to dominate somebody?
Mm, I think
I'll go ahead and I'll read this while you're thinking of that. So we'll
yeah,
just switch off. So Chile is a land dominated by both ocean and mountains. So all along Chile's western border lies the vast Pacific Ocean, marking Chile's eastern border with Bolivia, another country, and Argentina are the towering, that's a good word, snow-capped peaks of the Andes Mountains, right? So these are the highest mountains outside of Asia. That's interesting, right? I guess, yeah, that's interesting. Additionally, there are smaller mountain ranges along the coastline, creating a narrow valley in the center of the country. The interactions, yes, I've heard it's quite beautiful. Chile, I've never been. The interactions of ocean and mountains of varying heights contribute to the variety of geographic regions that can be found in Chile. Okay, so can you think of anything, another word that is similar, a synonym to dominate?
So one is surrounded. It's surrounded by ocean and mountains.
Yeah,
And
you
to
can, that's maybe a geographic, right? A geographic
yes,
similarity. How about, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking to dominate somebody. So maybe to,
yeah,
you could say, oh, like that's two words. It could be hyphenated, like overpower.
yes,
Um, yeah,
manipulate.
yeah. Okay, good. Lies the vast. Okay, what's some other synonyms, similar words for vast?
Wide or big is
Yes.
one.
Yes, good. Excellent. Okay. How about towering, right? That's almost very similar to dominate, right? To tower, towering. What are some synonyms of towering?
Mm,
I know one that's very similar, right? Yao Ming. Do you remember Yao Ming? Yao Ming is
yeah,
very
yeah, high.
high, right? He's high, he's tall, right? Gao,
Yeah,
tall, to tower is to be tall, to be, maybe you could say huge, but that's more, huge is more of a physical, right? You're just a
yes,
huge person. Towering, maybe, I'm thinking like a skyscraper. I don't know if a skyscraper is
yeah.
towering, but I don't know if you could use that as an adjective, those skyscrapers. Okay. Oh, so these are the highest mountains outside of Asia. Additionally, there are smaller. Yeah, this is easier. All right. So what are some synonyms for small or
Uh,
smaller?
yeah, little or more little and
Little, yes,
yeah,
little. And let's say what? Tiny.
yeah, tinier.
Yeah, tiny. Yeah, it is tiny.
Yeah,
People are tinier. He is tinier than the other person.
yes,
You could say minuscule, right?
yeah.
Mini is another word for small. Okay, good. All right, now we're going to do antonyms. We're going to do the opposite. All right, Eric, please read the far north.
In the far north, in Chile's far north region lies the Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth. In some areas of the desert, no rainfall has ever been recorded. Yet, even in this harsh environment, there are uh, oases and lagoons that support desert blooms and waterfall, including 3 species of flamingos. This is partly because of the Andean Plateau or Altiplano, a silver of which lies on the eastern side of Atacama. In contrast to the dry desert, the rain is plentiful at certain times of year in the plateau region. The water trickles down to the desert, forming temporary oases and fertile river valleys.
Excellent, very good. I'll just read the caption, right? We call this a caption below the picture. So the Atacama Desert. Wow, that is vast. It looks very big, right?
Yes.
Desert's extreme Aridity yes, aridity is due in part to its location between the Andes and the Chilean coast mountain ranges, creating a two-sided rain shadow effect. So aridity, what do you think? Well, let's a synonym, I'll give you the synonym. Another word for that means it's very dry, right? So there's not much rain. You can just take a look at this and assume, right? You can gleam just by, if you don't know it, you can just say, wow, it looks very dry. So it's arid, right? Aridity.
Yes.
What is the opposite? What is an antonym of aridity?
Wet.
Yes, perfect, right? If it's not dry, it is wet. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the driest, right, places on Earth. In some areas of the desert, no rainfall has been recorded. Yet, even in this harsh environment. So what is the opposite? Can you give me an antonym of harsh?
Great environment.
Okay. Can you give me maybe a closer antonym, meaning something that's like directly opposite, more so? So if it's harsh, right, you can say maybe a synonym would be cruel or mean, right? Or nasty, right? Like my teacher is very harsh, a very harsh personality, very, right? So what would be the opposite of being harsh?
Gentle.
Yes, excellent. Very good, Eric, right? A gentle environment. That's excellent. Okay, these are pronounced oasis, right? So one is oasis, and I didn't even know the plural, really. I just learned that here. So one is an oasis, and then I guess the plural form are oases. So oasis is, right? Oases.
Yes.
Yeah, do you know what they are?
Yes, so I learned in geography it's some red lands or like some grasslands.
Yeah, it can be an oasis or something that is more peaceful or pleasant within a very harsh, right, environment. I would think maybe it's more right, wet. So it's the opposite of arid. So yes, exactly. So it's got some greenery, and it's a nice respite, right? It's a good place to relax when you're in that environment. So okay. And then this is pronounced lagoons. Do you know what a lagoon is?
Lagoons. I don't really know that.
Yeah, it's similar, right? It's similar to a lake, or a pond, right? So that would be similar is a lagoon. It's just a geographic water system, right? A lagoon. Okay, that support desert blooms and waterfall, including 3 species of flamingos, right? And you know what flamingos are, right?
Yes.
Pink birds, right? All right, this is partly because of the Andean plateau. So this is pronounced plateau, and the etymology, right? I think I've said that before. I'm very interested in this. If I had to study for my doctorate again, I think I would do linguistics, or the study of language, right? So this is again a French word that we use now in English. Okay. So a sliver. So what is a sliver, Eric? What is the definition of a sliver?
Sliver.
You could say maybe Chile is a sliver of a country. So that is very similar. So it's a synonym of maybe narrow, right? A sliver. Yeah. What would be an antonym then? What would be an opposite word or words of sliver?
Wide.
Yes, perfect, Eric. Excellent. Very good. All right. And again, we did contrast to the dry desert. The rain is plentiful. That's a good adjective, right? A descriptive adjective. Yeah, let's do both. So what would be a similar words, or what would be synonyms for plentiful?
I think a lot is one of the synonym for plentiful.
Yes, much, many, bountiful, right? So then what would be an antonym or antonyms of plentiful? What would be the opposite?
little.
Yes, right. Or sparse,
Yeah.
few. Yeah, excellent. Very good. Okay. At certain times of years in the plateau region, the water trickles, right? That's another good verb, right? A very
Yeah.
descriptive verb, to trickle. So what would be the opposite to trickle?
Mm,
So if water trickles, right? So what do you think, right? It's going very slow, right? So it trickles down, it comes down slow. So what would be the opposite of trickle or trickling? What would be the opposite?
so it comes down fast.
Yeah, it comes down fast, or you can, right, you can say it pours.
Yeah, pour.
Yeah, when it's raining, like you. So it's like when it's a lot of rain, we say it is pouring down, right? I think you maybe have heard this. This is an expression we'll say it's pouring down cats and dogs. I don't know why we say this, but that means, right, there's much rain. So, okay, down to the desert, forming temporary oasis and fertile river valleys. Fertile is a good descriptive adjective too, right? So
Yes.
what do you, can you define fertile?
Yes, so it means the place is really good and the plants here may grow very well because I think it's fertilized well, but not that kind of meaning. The opposite of it is maybe uh, harsh or strict.
Yes. Excellent, right? Perfect, right? That was great. So this is actually a very good compare and contrast of the geography, right? Because it talks about the harsh, arid environment in Chile, but then it has the very fertile lands of some oases, right? Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead. Please read the near north, Eric, right here.
yeah, so now I can't see it. You have to
Oh, you can't
pull.
see it? Okay, can you see it now or no? Oh,
No.
are we not in, sorry, are we not in share, screen share? Oh, sorry, Matt.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, sorry about that. Let me make this bigger, bro. Hold on. Hey, okay, there you go. Can you see it?
I think it's a little bit small.
Really? It's small? That's like,
Now it's large. Yeah.
okay, okay. Can you, okay, you can see it? Wow, it's huge
Okay.
on my screen. That's interesting. Okay.
The near north, three of Chile's highest mountains lie with Chile's semi-arid near north region, south of Atacama Desert. In this rugged mountainous region, the coastal ranges and the Andes Mountains merge in places, creating a narrow valley running creating narrow valleys running east to west from the Andes to the coast. The Elqui Valley, famous for its vineyards, is just one example of lush green valleys growing next to high, barren desert peaks. The high mountains also help create temperate rainforests along the coast.
Excellent, fabulous. You're such a good reader. Excellent pronunciation. I don't know. I think you can either do vineyards. I pronounce it without the ye, so I'll say vineyards.
Yeah,
I think it's either or. I just have a quick question: are your foreign teachers, are they American or British, or where are they from in the English speaking world? What country?
So they're mostly from South Africa.
South Africa, interesting. Okay, because you're working with me so much. I remember before you had a little slight British accent, which I thought that was great. That was cool. But I think you're working with me so much now. You're becoming your accent is very American. So I'm sorry for that. That's all right. You can watch some British television and get back to the British accent. But that's all right. I'd like to think we Americans have a pretty standard English accent, so that's okay. All right, excellent, Aaron. All right, so highest. All right, so high. What would be some antonyms of high? The opposite.
Low,
Yes,
tiny.
right. That is the direct one. Low, and then can you think of any more?
Yeah, tiny, small.
Yeah, I would think so. Tiny. I would think tiny is maybe the opposite of huge, right?
Yeah.
So that is more of a physical antonym, right? Or a physical adjective, right? But that was, yeah, high, low, right? East, west. So that's great. All right. So also here, that's interesting. So semi-arid. So what would you think this means to be semi-arid?
I think it's half, so it's nearly.
Yes, excellent. And then when you see this hyphen, right? Semi is half, right? Ibar, ibar, right? Half. What would quasi? Have you ever heard that word, quasi?
Yeah, I've heard of that. I think it's 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it can mean like quasi. Let's look this up, right? It can mean a little, right? So let's just go to the dictionary. But that's a Latin based from Latin, right? An old Italian or Latin word that we use. So quasi, resembling, it's a little, right? Seeming. You can say you're a quasi member. You're
Yeah,
a little bit of membership. Maybe you're not a full member of a group or a team, but you are a quasi member. So maybe you only practice a little bit, right? And you don't play in the game. So you're a quasi member. All right, excellent. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's some more here. Rugged, that's a good one. That's a good descriptive adjective. What's an opposite of rugged? What would be an opposite word for that? Is an antonym?
flat.
Yeah, that's good, right? So they're talking about the mountains or the mountainous region. So it's very rugged, flat. Can you think of any more antonyms
Mm,
of rugged? Maybe you could say like the water. You could almost say the ocean sometimes is rugged. You could say that. I don't know if not. And maybe again, sometimes it's too descriptive. But the water is rugged. So an opposite, maybe you could say it's calm. Is the opposite, right? So don't like Eric, don't go sailing today because the water is very rough and rugged, right?
yeah,
The opposite would be the waters are very calm and very soothing or something along those lines. Okay, how about merge? That's a good verb, right? It's to merge
yes.
something. So what would you think the opposite, an antonym of merge?
Um, separate.
Yes, excellent, Eric, right? To separate. I didn't even think of that. That was perfect, right? To separate is or to pull apart is the
Yeah,
opposite of merge, means to come together. So that's excellent. Very good job, my friend. Yep. So let me just do one page. Sorry. Single page. Yes. Okay. Wait. Was far south? Oh no, we didn't read this. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Okay, Eric. Yeah, go ahead and read the central Chile. Can you see that?
uh, no, it's a bit too small.
Really interesting. All right, I don't know what's going on here. Can you see it now? Central Chile, or can you maybe you can, if you can't see it, you can pull it up on do you have Ding Talk on your computer?
Yeah, yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
okay.
it.
Well, you can just pull it up. We're on the second page on that
Yes.
yeah, so you can just read it. It's probably easier for you to
Okay,
read it that way. So we're reading Central Chile. You're going to read Central Chile on the second page.
okay. Central Chile, unlike the mountains in the near north, which run east to west, the Andes Mountains and coastal ranges in central Chile run north to south. These parallel ranges contain the wide central valley between them. Temperate temperatures here are relatively mild. The temperate climate is similar to that of much of California and the Mediterranean regions of Europe. Summers are dry and generally hot. Winters are cool and rainy. This region is also home to Chile's richest agricultural lands because of the mild climate and plentiful food and fresh water. The Central Valley contains the three largest metropolitan areas, including the capital city, Santiago, and the majority of the Chilean population.
Excellent, fabulous, and that's a beautiful city. I didn't know how. I never really studied Santiago, right? So Santiago lies in a relatively flat basin, central region. surrounded on all sides by towering mountains. And I would say this skyscraper, that building is very towering. Wow, that's beautiful though.
Yes.
Wow, that's a very lovely city. Okay, so a basin, do you know what that is in geography?
Uh, so it's also like a flat one, but it's surrounded by mountains. So the four sides are high, but the basin is the low part.
Yes, fabulous, right? So you could say that's very good. That's a good job. A basin, right? So maybe the mountains are surrounding the city, and they're like maybe Hong Kong, Shanghai is a basin type of a city, maybe a little bit because all the mountains are surrounding it. So
Yeah.
maybe Shenzhen too, maybe is a little bit like that as well. Okay, so good. So unlike the mountains in the near north, which are on east to west, the Andes, right, mountains and coastal ranges in central Chile run north to south. These parallel ranges contain the wide central valley between them. Yeah, okay, that's not nothing spectacular we can use there though. All right, temperatures here are relatively mild. So that's another good descriptive adjective, to be mild. So what would
Yes.
be an opposite? What would be, or no, let's do synonyms again. What is a similar word of something that is mild?
I think we can mix two words, wet and warm, together.
So if you think something is mild, you would also use the word wet.
Yeah.
You think really? You would? Okay, maybe. I don't know. I would say mild is maybe soft or low,
Yes.
right? So you would say a temperature, like say you're
Smooth.
cooking noodles, right? Yeah, right. You're just cooking noodles at a mild. Maybe you don't want them so soft, right? So you cook them at a mild
Yes.
temperature. So maybe a soft or a low. It's more of a low temperature, mild. Okay, the temperature climate is similar to that of much of California and the Mediterranean regions of Europe. Summers are dry, right, and generally hot. Winters are cool and rainy. This region is also home to Chile's richest agricultural lands because of the mild climate and plentiful. There's another good descriptive word. I think we actually use this. Did we use that as an antonym on the first page? I don't know. All right.
Yes.
What is what first describe plentiful? What is to have plentiful food? What does that mean? Means what does that mean?
Plentiful means plenty, have enough of something.
Yes, plentiful food meaning yes, you have more than enough, right? Is a lot. So then what would an antonym, what would be the opposite of plentiful?
So little,
Yes, few, right? Yeah, well, if you have plentiful food, or you could say sparse,
yes,
right?
sparse.
Yeah, just maybe, it's okay to use two words, right? There's not much food, a small amount, small portions, right? So it's just the opposite.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. You did have a little British accent with water. That's good, right? For some reason, we Americans, we pronounce the T. Some of us do. I try to say water, but we
Yeah.
Americans pronounce it with the D sometimes, right? A D sound. So water. I don't know why. All right. The Central Valley contains the three largest metropolitan areas, including the capital city, Santiago, and the majority of the Chilean population. Okay, Mr. Kong, please read Southern Zone.
Yeah, so now the picture is not full.
Well, can you read it off your document?
Okay, I'll open
Okay.
it.
Yeah, so just read the middle portion on page 2, Southern Zone.
Southern Zone. South of Chile's Central Valley lies the Southern Zone of Chile, also known as the Lake District. Because it sits at a lower elevation than the Central Valley, water from hundreds of rivers flowing down from the Andes collects here to form magnificent lakes. This part of Chile is in contrast to the dry Atacama, is one of the rainiest areas in the world. In winter, it can rain for weeks. The land is lush, covered with ferns, wildflowers, and forests. In fact, Conguillo National Park in the Lake District is home to ancient forests of towering Araucaria trees. The Araucaria, more commonly known as the monkey puzzle tree, is the national tree of Chile.
Excellent, very good, right? You could say this is lush, right? We pronounce that
Yeah,
lush. But that's Eric, you do very well on your Spanish pronunciation. I was fortunate, right? Of course, Spanish Mexico is our bordering country in America. So I was fortunate to take Spanish classes. So I can pronounce it a little well. My Spanish is still not so good, but yeah, conguilio, right? Conguilio.
yeah.
And also your French, you do good job with your French as well. Okay, so south of yeah, I'll just read this. The Araucaria, Araucaria, I guess, a tree rises above trees. Wow, that's beautiful. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trees and shrubs by a lake at the foot of Lama Volcano in Conguila National Park. Wow, that's very beautiful. Maybe one day if I win the lottery, Eric, if I get a lot of money, I'll go to
Yes.
I'll go to Chile. All right, let me try to move this over. I don't know why I can't move. There you go. Okay, so south of Chile, Central Valley lies the southern zone of Chile, also known as the Lake District, because it sits at a lower elevation, right? So here it's used as a noun. It can also be used, right, as a verb to elevate something. So what is to elevate? What do you mean? What does it mean? What's a definition of elevate?
So I think it is to rise higher and to promote something to a higher platform.
Excellent, very good, right? You could say, right, an elevator, right? That's why we say
Yes.
elevator, right? Is it elevates, it goes up, right? It's moving upwards. So excellent. So what would be an antonym of to elevate?
It's to go down
Yes.
or fall or drop.
I would think that's the direct meaning. It's the closest opposite meaning, right? To go down. All right. Elevation in the Central Valley, water from hundreds of rivers flowing down from the Andes collects here to form magnificent lakes. Wow. It doesn't get much more descriptive, right? You could say,
Yes.
you had said this before. So what is a synonym, a very similar meaning to magnificent? Do you remember what you said
Uh,
today?
Great, gorgeous, beautiful.
Yes, well, you said spectacular,
Yes,
right? I would
spectacular.
think of something like this is magnificent. It looks spectacular. So that's very good. Good job, Eric. All right. So this part of Chile, in contrast to the dry Atacama, is one of the rainiest areas in the world. In winter, it can rain for weeks. The land is lush. Okay. What is an antonym of lush? What is an opposite words for lush?
Dry or without energy.
Yes. I don't know if it's energy related, right? So you wouldn't say the light bulb is lush, right? It doesn't have energy. But I would definitely say dry, right? We learned that
Yeah.
also today. Arid, right, is another word for dry. That is a synonym of dry. So to be lush, right, is what is, can you define lush? What does lush mean?
Yeah, so it means uh, the climate here is very warm and it has a lot of rain-like temperate.
Yes. Yeah, I would say maybe, I don't know if it's similar to warm, but maybe more wet, right? To be
Yes.
lush, right? Something is very lush. Okay, I think this is the last page, and then I'm going to give you time. So let's just read this. We have about a minute, so go ahead and read this. Try to read this fast, Eric.
Okay. The far south, Chile extends all the way to Cape Horn, the headland of the Tierra del Fuego archipelago. In the far south region of Chile, the Andes Mountains and the Pacific Ocean meet. At Cape Horn, the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans converge. It is generally cold and windy here. This area is a land of tiny islands, forts, channels, glaciers, and ice fields. It is literally and figuratively a long way from the Atacama Desert of Chile's far north.
Excellent. Again, this is Tierra del Fuego archipelago, right? These are just words,
Yeah.
Spanish words. I know they're difficult, and you can say literally and figuratively, right? So I'll read this very quick. The soaring granite peaks of Los Cuernos del Paine, or the Horns of Paine, interesting, are one of many attractions for tourists in Chile's Patagonia region in the far south. Patagonia, right, is that